At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. And boy, are we living up to that, let me tell you. I am one of your hosts this week, Wrestling Chris G, and on the other line with me is my poison brother himself. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
Did you forget your nickname for a second?
Oh, Wrestling Chris G? Yeah, just a little bit. You take 3 weeks off and you forget everything.
Apparently.
And yes, everybody, it is 3 days before Christmas that we are recording this. This is December 22nd, 2021. And we just dropped our Pokemon movie, bro.
We did.
Yes.
We did.
So hopefully all of you out there listen to it. We hope you liked it. And yeah, we're using new software. We're officially recording on Discord instead of good old Skype. And we will test this out and just make sure that everything is good to go. But hopefully our audio becomes a lot more crisper, Doug.
Or at least just audible.
Yes. So yes, everybody, we are back. We are here. We are live. How have you been, Doug? Like I said, a peek behind the curtain. We've taken about 3 weeks off, getting some personal things done, thanks to our backlog that allowed us to be able to do that. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm getting ready for Christmas and
New Year's,
Christmas Eve and New Year's and all that sorted
Oh, okay. All right.
stuff.
Yes, and on our end, we're doing pretty well ourselves. This Omicron variant of COVID is going wild, and it's just, man, I don't get it. I just want this stuff to go away, but it's not. So it's the new thing that we got to live with, Doug.
Yep, you just gotta
Fucking up all the sports.
look up all the sports. Yeah, I mean, I was telling you off mic, the NHL's shut out until after Christmas. Officially, the NHL's officially pulling out of participating in the Winter Olympics.
Who's pulling out of the Winter Olympics?
The NHL's not sending their players over to be part of their countries.
Oh. Okay. Damn.
Which, long term may be all right because that would have necessitated a 2-week pause in the schedule anyway. So maybe with the league not going over to the Olympics, maybe you can make up some of these games you're going to have to make up, God willing.
And obviously, we're speaking. I mean, with this episode that's getting ready to go out, I mean, we're basically here. You're listening to this maybe like a week or so later after we're done recording, which never happens, everybody. But yeah, it's so close that people can still relate to this, Doug.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you were going to be able to relate to this, I'm afraid, if we waited 2 months to put it up. I think,
Yeah.
I mean, and you just got to do your part,
Yes.
and,
Do your part,
maybe,
stay safe. And if you're not for certain circumstances, just make sure you're safe. Just make sure that you do the right thing. Try not to get sick if you can't. Know the people that you're going to be around. And let's try to stop this together. It doesn't matter if you get your shot or not. Some people don't like getting shots, some people do like getting shots. But if you don't get a shot, just try to be safe and make sure that you're still doing your part and just be safe. That's all. I don't want to see anybody drop like flies like it seems like everything is going right now in the news. So we want to keep all of you here with us. But
it's craziness. So,
yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of what we're dealing with here. And
And
uh, that,
I do want to make an announcement, and I'm sorry I didn't run this by you beforehand, but I kind of feel with our like two or three conversations about it that you're kind of on board with it. If not,
oh,
I'll edit it out of the episode. But
oh,
la- um, a couple weeks ago we announced on the oh no, actually no. Last week, when we released the Pokemon movie special for you, we announced at the end of the podcast that we were going to go back to one episode per week. Um, there's a lot of filler episodes, and I don't want to bore you guys for too long because I kind of did the math, and it would be about 2 months from now that we would even get to the Pokemon League episodes. And I don't want to put you guys through that. So we're going to keep this schedule. Once we get to the Pokemon League episodes, we will go. We will most likely go to the one episode per week, maybe depending on how our schedule is, and that will be episode 76, All Fired Up, which is the beginning of the Pokemon um, League. We have some special guests already lined up for that. Um, we have um, we have Patreon guests. We have reoccurring guests. We have some new guests that's that's coming on. We got 3 guests total so far that have signed on for our Pokemon League episodes. So, and we will announce that as it gets a little closer as well. Doug?
so what did you just say? I mean, so we're doing 2 episodes a week, but instead of doing one
No,
black and white, it's going to be.
no. It's the same schedule. So one black and white and one Kanto, but instead, I mean, we're just going to keep to that because otherwise we were going to be revolving our black and white and Kanto episodes, which would put us back like 2 months before we even get to a Pokemon League episode, as opposed to 1 month, and we'll be right into the Pokemon League episodes.
Well, what if we paused black and white and did 2 episodes a week of the Kanto?
I like that idea. Do you want to do that, Doug?
I
Live on
mean,
the
you
air.
might.
We can do it.
I mean, you might as well. It gets us there quicker.
Yeah. So we can do yeah, then let's go ahead and do that. Do you we can do 1 week of Kanto, 1 week of Black and White, and you'll get 2 episodes. Well, does that really put us ahead, or do you want to just pause Black and White and just go straight forward with Kanto until we get to the Pokemon League?
No, that's what I say. Pause black and white. Still do the Tuesday, Friday drops, but have them both be Kanto.
Gotcha. You know what? I like that. I like that, Doug. That's why you're my co-host. That's why you're my bro to the end, man. If I could chest bump you, I'll do it right now. Bump.
I fall over. Now, and I don't want to go too inside baseball, but fuck it, we're here because you had mentioned that the last 4 episodes that we recorded got corrupted, which were the one that you're listening to now,
Yes.
the one that we're gonna do after this, which you're gonna potentially see.
This upcoming Friday.
Oh, well, when's this one going out?
This one will be going out on Tuesday.
That's right. Okay, so this is going out on Tuesday. That's so yeah. So um to to get where I was going, we were going to do another recording session
Tomorrow.
tomorrow that was going to make up the two black and white episodes that got corrupted. Now, are we putting those in the back burner and then moving on to the next two cantos?
Yes, we will go ahead
Okay.
and do that. We'll get because I just want to get these fillers out and
Sure.
nothing against these fillers fans, but we've noticed in the numbers that you guys are listening to, we've noticed that you guys don't particularly like these fillers as well. Not as many of you listen to these, but you will listen to the ones that intrigue you, which we're guessing is going to be the Pokemon League episodes coming up. So,
Right.
in order to run through these fillers, which I mean, they're just as it says, they're filler episodes. So we're gonna run through these, and we will have our special guest on pretty soon as well. So yeah, it's so for the next couple weeks. So we with this, we got 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks. So we got 3 weeks of only Kanto, and then we'll bring back the black and white episodes that everybody loves, and everybody can rejoice and be happy that we're bringing back the black and white. So it's just on pause for 3 weeks, everyone. That's it. I promise
Right.
you, they are coming back. I know you guys love those reviews. So, all right.
And the good thing is, if we pause the black and white episodes, that starts with the two black and white episodes that got corrupted. And if we wait 3 weeks, I'll forget what happened.
Especially the episode that doesn't include your Team Rocket, Doug.
Oh no, I gotta rewatch that one. So are the episodes that we're recording the black and white? Is it the ones where they were the last like 5 seconds was like, oh by the way, here's Team Rocket, and then the next week there is no Team Rocket?
Yes.
All fun, all fun,
So,
all fun, fun, fun. That's fine. That's
all
fine.
right. But yes, everybody. So, if you're confused or anything when you click today and you saw that it's only a Kanto episode, thank you for listening to figure out why you're listening to a Kanto episode.
Yeah, I mean, for our sake, I hope you at least make it. If you don't care for this episode, I hope you at least make it through our history, and you can skip ahead, mark as played, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Get it out your queue.
So, all
But yeah,
right.
a little bit of admin live on the show. That's always fun.
I know. I love doing that. And
Ah, fuck.
people can sit here and be like, "Oh, so that's how they get through." I mean, these two must be really good friends. They got through that real quick. Oh, all right. But today's episode is episode 70, everybody. Make room for gloom, or translated from Japanese, uh, kasu Kusaihana of Botanical Garden. Botanical Garden. There you go.
Sounds like another
Kusaihana.
Pokemon translation.
Yeah, Kusaihana of Botanical Garden. There you go. That's what it was. But this episode premiered in Japan on October 29th, 1998, and here in the States, October 4th, 1999. So basically 25 days shy of an entire year that this episode came out in Japan, did we get it here in the States, Doug?
Gotta love that lag, boy.
I know. But all right, so let's go ahead and go over our historical dates. So mine happened in 1990, Doug. When did yours happen?
2001.
Okay, so I'm going first this week, everybody. So take a sip. Take that shot, everybody. So
You can't be telling people to take a shot. They could be listening to this at 8 in the morning.
I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Irresponsible.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Irresponsible.
And wait a minute, it's Friday that they're listening to this episode. Yeah, everybody, go take a shot. It's almost New Year's.
Jiminy Christmas.
You got to get rolling early, Doug. When it comes to New Year's, that's when all the funny stories happen. But on this day in 1990, this was the U.S. premiere of Fox's TV show Beverly Hills 90210, starring Luke Perry, Jason Priestley, and Shannon.
Doherty.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce that last name. Doherty. But yeah, I watched this show, surprisingly, Doug. I did. I watched reruns, but I did watch this show.
Right.
And I watched the remake of this show later on, which I like my dramas. And you can make fun of me all you want. You're like, oh, ew, you watched Beverly? Yes, I did. So, yes, I did. But that's my date for this week. Dougie, my man, what is yours?
So, on this date, in the year of our Lord, 2001, and it's very fitting that this is the 70th episode of the Kanto region, because Barry Bonds hits home run number 70 of the season, tying Mark McGwire for the MLB home run record. He would go on to break the record by hitting 3 more home runs before the end of the season. And he, of course, would end up with the all-time mark at 762. Yes. And I feel like I've talked about Barry Bonds recently. And even if you do just the quickest of Google searches, you can kind of see, Mr. Bonds' head size when he was in Pittsburgh versus his head size when he got to San Francisco. And you'd click on a couple articles and they go, oh, right, that Barry Bonds. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Doug.
Right.
So you ready to jump into this week's episode?
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. So this week, we start with a beautiful view of the morning sun, Doug. And there's a Dodrio standing on top of a house just squawking like a bird would. And then
I honestly thought you were going to leave it at squawking like a bird.
Surprised you, didn't I?
A little bit, yeah.
And then we get a shot of Ash Ketchum's house. It looks like Ash's mom is out watering the garden. Brock is on the inside making some eggs, because why the fuck not? And then we get Ash Ketchum. And Ash Ketchum is still sleeping, even though he should be up training.
Knocked out cold.
Yes. Because, I mean, he was fucking around yesterday. So, I mean, he has to sleep hard. And he's sleeping in his regular clothes, might I add.
Hey, we've all been there.
Yeah, I mean, we have. Yeah, we have. So we see Ash Ketchum, he's knocked out, and then we see a broom going across his face. It kind of wakes him up, it kind of irritates him, but he kind of like shrugs it off and he's like, stop it, and just turns on his side. And then we see Pikachu just on an entire pillow. That's how small Pikachu is. And the broom goes across Pikachu's face, and then we see the feet in the back. And so we see as Mr. Mime cleaning Ash's room again. And Pikachu just gets irritated with the broom on its face and just shocks everybody, wakes Ash up, electrocutes a big old light out the window. Ash's mom looks up, and then we see Misty passed out, waking up on the bunk bed. I mean, Ash is on the floor, Misty's on the damn bunk bed, and Togepi wakes up just clapping its hands. And Misty's like, "The hell was that?" And Ash is just fried at the bottom. Doug?
Yeah, and Misty's got a great line, possibly the line of the episode, and I know, it's, only 2 minutes into the thing, less than that if you don't count the theme song, which you shouldn't count. Um, she goes, "Oh, it smells like Brock burnt the eggs." It's funny. Um, but yeah, I mean, so Ash is down there. He's burnt to a crisp, and Misty and Togepi are up, basically on the next level, and they're perfectly fine. I just think that's funny.
Yeah. And when has Brock ever burnt any of his food?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, let's not, slander the good name of Brock and Brock's cooking, for goodness sakes.
I mean, it could have been Ash's mom, but I mean, Misty is sleeping in Ash's house, so he's not going to go and diss the host or hostess.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say Misty shouldn't really be throwing stones one way or the other. She's getting free room and board here.
But we find out that Brock, we're now in the kitchen, and Brock has made omelets for everybody. Ash's mom is coming in from picking flowers and watering her garden. She thanks him, and then it's at this time that Mrs. Ketchum looks over and is like, "When you guys finish breakfast, do you guys want to give me a hand in the garden?" And Ash, just full blown, just starts to lie on what he has to do for the day. Doug?
So I really hate to backtrack. I'm really a move forward kind of guy, but I have a magnificent issue with Ash's breakfast order.
Oh, what's wrong with
It's sunny side down eggs.
it? You can't dig it. All you got to do is flip it over.
Well, why wouldn't you have sunny side up in the first place if you got to flip them over?
Exactly. But I mean, I do love that. That is my favorite type of eggs. It's sunny side up eggs. Like if I'm going out somewhere and I
Right,
order eggs, I get sunny side up.
right. I don't understand down. I don't because it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, Ash immediately is thinking on his feet, and he says, "Well, actually, we're going to go up and train in the mountains today." And Misty's like, "Well, nobody told me about training in the mountains." And he pulls Misty to the side and is like, "Oh, you just got to go along with me on this one. Just trust me."
And she's like, and Brock is like, "Well, can I come too?" And Ash is basically like, "Yeah, you can come."
Pushing Misty out the door. He's like, "We got to go. Those mountains aren't going to help themselves."
And as he's pushing her out, Ash's mom comes over, and and oh no, Ash explains himself outside. He's like, "We got to get out of here. My mom is coming. If she finds us, she's gonna ask us to do some type of chore that we all don't want to do. So we need to get out of here yesterday." And then of course, as that's happening, Ash's mom walks around the corner with a barrel, and then she has enough nerve to ask them if they can stop and get 300 or 400 pounds of fertilizer on their way back. And Ash acts like he doesn't hear, and he's like, "See you later, mom. I'll see you later." And then they all just start booking it down the road. Doug?
And the next time we see him, they've stopped, and Ash is out of breath, and he goes, "Oh, that was close." And then we see Misty take a step forward, and out in the distance beyond the trees, we can see the greenhouse that pardon me, that Mrs. Ketchum wanted them to go to in the first place. So in in their haste to get out of there, they end up there anyway,
Yes.
which I thought was kind of funny.
Isn't that convenient?
It's sure it's almost like it's a cartoon or something.
So from here, um, Ash is like, yeah, this is the place my mom was talking about. We used to come here all the time. I'm surprised it's still in business. And he's like, the man who used to be here moved out a whole lot or a long time ago. So I wonder who's inside of this place right now. And of course, Brock is just looking around. And then he's looking through the window and he sees a beautiful girl with purple hair on the inside. And he just goes gaga. And he's like, hubba, 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 hubba. Ah, she is so beautiful. And then Ash goes over there and he's like, what the hell are you looking at, Brock? And he's looking inside. He doesn't see anything. And then all of a sudden, out of the bushes comes a Gloom. And he's like, you're getting all hard for a damn Gloom? And he's like,
Oh,
no.
oh, hold on. I usually don't have issue with you ad libbing dialogue.
True, Ash wouldn't say that.
I usually just let it go because that's what he said's funnier. But I can't let that one go.
You're laughing though, aren't you?
I am, but it's horrible. He says you're getting all misty for a Gloom, and that brings Misty over, and she goes, "What did you say?" And she fish hooks poor Ash, and
Yeah.
Ash is like, "I wasn't talking about you," and that's disgusting. Um, and we see a guy in the background. He goes, "What are you doing?" And they turn around and they think this guy's packing a flamethrower. So they're like throwing their hands up and like, don't shoot, don't use the flamethrower.
He's like,
And
"Oh no, this is this is just a watering gun."
we find out it's a hose. And um, in the next cut, um, they're getting a bit of a tour. We find out this guy's name is Potter, which Potter plants, get it? It's funny. Um, and it's like, oh, uh, trainers with grass Pokemon love to come here and check out the plants and walk around. And Ash goes, I have one of those, and he throws out Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur and Pikachu go running off, and Bulbasaur's got a spring in his step because he's in his element,
Yes.
and Misty scoops up Togepi and chases after Ash, and Brock stays behind. And to Potter, he says, "I saw a girl here earlier, right? Like that wasn't just me."
And Potter's like, "Oh, you must have been talking about Florinda." And Brock is like, "Oh, Florinda, what a beautiful name for a wife."
For a wife, yeah. I love it when Brock gets all fucked up
Why?
because he just doesn't think. He just it's a stream of consciousness. That's the best Brock to me.
So we go straight from that to Misty and Ash following Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur is running around and he's sniffing the grass, he's sniffing this, he's sniffing that.
He's literally taking time to stop and smell the roses.
Yes.
What we've been doing for 2 months is we've been stopping and well, not yet. We've been doing it for about 3 weeks, but
I was about to say, but
it's gonna get to that. It's gonna get to that point, isn't it?
yeah, it is
Yeah,
real soon.
if we're not already there.
So, all right, let's take a look here. So he gets to this one white flower, and then Bulbasaur sniffs it, and then all of a sudden he he gets a red line over his nose, and it's he sniffed Pokey Nip. And
Pokey
you
nip.
so Doug, would you mind explaining to our fine folks what Pokey Nip is?
Well, basically, it's what it says on the sign. Basically, it it affects Pokemon the same way that catnip affects cats. So
It makes you
uh,
high.
it makes you high. Bulbasaur gets all affectionate. Um, he's rubbing on Ash like a cat would rub on a pant leg, and they're like, "Oh, it's isn't that cute?" Bulbasaur is all kinds of fucked up, and let's see.
So after that, he Bulbasaur walks over to a different plant, and this plant looks like a straight up weed. Everyone, and Bulbasaur goes over and smells this plant and just collapses on his ass. And Ash is like, "The hell's up with this plant?" So he goes over to sniff the plant, and then all of a sudden he hears, "Don't sniff that goddamn plant." Kevin Hart joke, everybody.
What? Why can't I give her? Why can't she sniff the plants? Jesus. Um,
Why'd you put it on this earth if you can't sniff the plant? It's unfair. I'm shutting the whole plant sniffing business down.
Gangster stepladder. Pat pat pat.
Pat pat pat.
3 steps.
That's how many steps it takes Florinda to get down. But all right, everybody. But yeah, she's like, "Don't sniff that plant." And Ash's like, what? And she's like, if anyone, Pokemon or human, smells that leaf, it will make you paralyzed.
Yes,
And
we find out that it's called stun stem,
yes,
which kind of frustrates me because there was a Pokenip sign, right?
yes.
So one would reason that there would have been a stun stem sign as well. Yes?
Uh, I mean, I would hope so, but maybe it's on the other side of the plant.
Aha. I could accept that.
But my thing is, we don't get told at any point what good use this plant can actually do we?
Oh yeah, that's a fair point.
Like, why the fuck are you growing this if humans and Pokemon can't enjoy this damn plant in this greenhouse? Why even have it?
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's kind of like what's the point of poison ivy? All it does is make you itch and break you out.
Exactly. And you're not going to purposely grow poison ivy, are you?
Unless you're an asshole.
Exactly. But then out of the corner, we see Gloom come over to Bulbasaur because Bulbasaur has already fallen on his ass because it's now paralyzed. It's
Right.
high. It's high and paralyzed. And
That's just not a good time.
no, no, it is not. So Gloom comes over and picks up Bulbasaur. Well, attempts to pick up Bulbasaur. It's kind of dragging him by his two legs, and just drags him over to this next scene that we're about to see. We're now in this big old mansion house that's covered in moss, and it's at this point that we see Bulbasaur is kind of straining because it's paralyzed, but Gloom has some type of liquid inside of it that once it goes into Bulbasaur's mouth, cures him of all paralysis.
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 Um.
There you
So that's clearly the antidote. Um. The the hey Gloom, pick up that Bulbasaur kind of frustrated me because Ash could have easily just scooped him up.
go. Or just put him back in the Pokeball.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of shitty because he's already paralyzed. I mean, for goodness sakes. But yeah, so he gets a drop of the antidote, and he wakes up and um
He's no
he goes
longer
over
high.
to Ash and he gives him a hug and he says, "Oh, Bulbasaur should be good to go, and we find out that because Gloom spends so much time hanging out in the greenhouse, tending to the stun stem, it's built up an immunity and an antidote, and basically we're lucky that Gloom was here because otherwise this would have been a very depressing episode.
Yes.
And Bulbasaur is immediately smitten with Gloom, um, partly because hey, you saved my life, but hey, you're a grass type, I'm a grass type. Let's get together and pollinate or whatever the fuck.
And they both like each other.
Right. So
So,
it's not like old Gloom's over there giving him the Heisman pose. Get the fuck.
but
And then we turn around and we see that Brock is trying to get it in with Florinda.
so it's at this point she's talking about her family and how they've run this plant for a long time, but she believes that she's a big failure as a Pokemon trainer for Gloom. And Brock is kind of curious. He's like, why do you think that you're such a failure? And she's like, because I can't get Gloom to evolve. I have this leaf stone, and every time I put it up against Gloom, Gloom just won't evolve. And I kind of feel like that I need to have a specific type of bond with my Gloom. And if I don't have that bond, it's not going to evolve, which we all know as trainers. It doesn't matter. You can force your Pokemon to evolve when you have a the proper stone for your Pokemon. But apparently, according to her, she's a failure, Doug.
And I was a little confused, and I could have looked this up, but I didn't. I didn't think Gloom needed a stone. I thought Gloom was levels.
No. Gloom, you need a leaf stone in order to
Oh,
evolve it
son of a
into
bitch.
a Vileplume.
And Gloom only has the one evolution then.
For right now.
Well,
Uh,
for now, yeah, I know he's probably got 14 more evolutions now that they've done.
he Gloom has two other evolutions as of now.
And probably like three baby evolutions that we don't even know are a thing.
Yeah, most likely. Yes.
But yeah, like you said you could force your Pokemon with a stone. So I was automatically thinking, Lieutenant Surge. I didn't really think about the battling Eevee brothers because I felt like at least they had good intentions with their EVs.
But Lieutenant Surge purposely um made or he purposely made Pikachu evolve.
Right, and obviously we saw in that episode to its detriment because it wasn't able to gain the agility that a Pikachu should in the Pikachu stage to carry over to the Raichu stage. But obviously, if you want our thoughts on that episode, you can go back in the feed.
Yes. So it's at this point that we find out Professor Oak broke
He just
into the
just walks into the shot.
yeah, like we didn't even know Professor Oak was even a thing in this episode, but he broke into this warehouse because I mean, I guess when you're Professor Oak, you can go wherever you please, even if it's Ash's mom.
Hey now, let's hey now.
Doors always open. Um,
Such a nice neighborhood. Why would I ever lock the door?
so Professor Oak goes, "There's nothing wrong with your Gloom," because he was eavesdropping. Because I mean, Professor Oak, I mean, he's trespassing and he's eavesdropping. But he was eavesdropping in on the conversation about Gloom, and he's like, "There's nothing wrong with your Gloom. There's something wrong with this stone. This stone that you have here is not a real leaf stone. It's a fake."
Like,
And
ah,
everyone's like, "Oh!" And it's at this point that he's like, "Where did you get this?" And she's like, "Well, I got it from a guy whose hair is like this, and then a girl whose hair is like this, and then with a meow that can talk that's like this." And
Now, be honest with me, and I'm gonna know if you're lying. When you were describing it, did you do?
yes, I did.
I was gonna, yeah.
So what she was doing was she was mimicking the hairstyle of Jesse James and Meowth. And of course, that set off an alert right away with Ash, Misty, and Brock. And they're like, Team Rocket. And she's like, huh? She's like, that's Team Rocket. So Doug, you want to take on this next part?
Yes, and of course, because it's like a Beetlejuice scenario, except it was just three of them saying the names at the same time, not three in a row, which triggers the Team Rocket theme song with a little twist on the opening because they say prepare for trouble with the girl from the girl with big hair and James says make it double with the uh, boy uh, with hair like that from there. And James is still a little kind of weirded out about his hair, but they do the intro uninterrupted. We end with Team Rocket doing like a cheerleader pyramid in the shape of an R, and Meowth walks by and goes, "What's the matter? Cat got your tongue?" And Jesse and James collapse because you can see that James is struggling. And okay, and this fucked me up
Okay.
because originally I was like, oh, so this door literally is open, so anybody can just walk in. But we find out that Team Rocket's doing their motto in the greenhouse, while the rest of them are in the pardon me, in the main house.
Yes.
And Meowth is concerned. He's like, maybe we should get out of here before that girl finds out that we gave her a fake leaf stone. And what does James say? James is like,
James is like, well, we can't leave yet. There has to be some rare. We can't pass up an opportunity like this inside of this greenhouse because this greenhouse must have some type of rare Pokemon in here. So
and
they're looking around, and this is when you get the other side of the of your of your stun stem, Doug, because it does have a sign.
right. So I think you hit the nail right on the head when you said maybe Ash and Bulbasaur were on the opposite side. Um, so we clearly see the stun stem sign,
Yes.
and Team Rocket's like, oh, look at that weed, and they dumbasses.
And then we get the who's that Pokemon, and it's Clefable. Clefable, which has
So
as I mean, unless I mean I haven't watched next week's episode. I mean I have seen it, but it's been a while. But I can't remember if Clefable plays a part in next week's episode or not.
I wouldn't think so because it's not too long ago that we just had the um, Clefable versus Jigglypuff battle.
Well, that was a no, that was a Jigglypuff and Clefairy.
Well, there weren't Clefable there.
There might have been, maybe.
Ah, see, you don't remember.
Maybe. I don't actually know. I don't think so because it was a bunch of Clefairy that was trying to get back up into space. I don't think they had a Moonstone. No, they didn't.
Well, but we've already what was it, the fifth episode or whatever? We established what a moonstone was.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say the next episode's going to involve Clefable in some way, shape, or form. Now, when we get on here next week, I'll put my cards on the table and say, "Look, I was an idiot. I didn't look ahead." But I'm just as of right now, I'm ignorance is bliss.
So at this point, So if you guys remember to like just 2 minutes ago, so Team Rocket is going after this plant, and then we get the Who's That Pokemon, and the next scene, as of right now, is Florinda, and she's so dumbfounded. She's so mad at herself, and she's like, I can't believe Team Rocket persuaded me into buying a fake leaf stone. Am I just that gullible and all this? She's like, that just proves I'm not as smart of a Pokemon trainer as I think I am, and not even smart enough to run this nursery on my own, or by myself. And she's like, I'm just so useless. And Brock's over here. He's like, I'll get you a real leaf stone. I bet you will, Brock.
Ash goes, "Hey man, you shouldn't be promising stuff. You don't know where to be finding leaf stone."
And Brock's in there going, it's a metaphor. Um,
No, because then he immediately flips. He's like, "Well, I'll catch Team Rocket and get your money back."
So it's at this point that they're like, that she's like, but how are we going to find Team Rocket? And Misty is like, don't worry. Team Rocket normally finds us sooner or later, so we'll get your money back. And then
Misty was on fire this episode. I forgot about that one as well.
So it's like, as soon as she says that, the alarm system starts going off for the greenhouse, and there Potter is like, somebody's in the greenhouse stealing all of our plants. We need to get down there. I mean, and then they look, and it's Team Rocket, and Team Rocket's taking all the plants that's inside, and she's like, oh my gosh, it's the guy with the hair like this, and the girl with the hair like this, and the Meowth that talks fast like this. and,
And
and
I
they're
can't
like,
see him. I can't see him, folks, but I know he did it again.
yes, I did. So and then you see Misty actually being a good mom for once, and she's like, "All right, let's go get Team Rocket." And then she's putting Togepi down for a nap with a blanket over it on the couch, so they can go and fight Team Rocket. Doug
Yeah, because Togepi was getting sleepy while they were sitting at the table, and it kind of
passed out.
I don't what would you call that? It closed itself up, I guess.
Yep.
So Misty put it down, and so they go run into the greenhouse, and Team Rocket might be idiots, but at least they're smart enough to be wearing their masks, which I kind of tripped me out. Obviously, 2020 and 2021 being what it is, but because obviously, they can read the sign and they go, "Hey, if we mess with this stun spore, who knows what's going to happen?" And um, Florinda's upset. She's like, "Don't harm the plants. They're like my children." And Team Rocket's like, "Oh, look who it is, another unsatisfied customer." And
and
Team Rocket like, "We're gonna change our ways and turn over a new leaf," and they just ha 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 ha.
get it, everybody, get it. And it's at this point that Brock is like, we need to get a grass Pokemon like Bulbasaur to go over, and asks like, Bulbasaur, Leech Seed, or no, he says
Vine
Vine
Whip.
Whip. I'm sorry, everybody, I'm sorry. And he's like, Bulbasaur, Vine Whip. And as soon as he does the Vine Whip, it catches Team Rocket off guard. The basket backpacks that they had on go flying off, and they just go tumbling down to the ground. And Florinda's like, "Oh my gosh, Bulbasaur is wonderful! Oh my gosh!" And she's just clapping like this. She's like, "Yay, Hercules, Hercules!"
Hercules, Hercules.
And then it's at this point now that Team Rocket is just sitting there, just chuckling. She's like, just because we're tied up doesn't mean we're whipped. Any second now, we'll be saved by our secret weapon. And Brock is like, what's that? And then we just have a really weird standoff. And then they're like, Meowth, what the hell are you doing? And Meowth is over there mashing the plants, doing whatever he's doing. Doug?
And we find out that he's crafting like this poisonous stem ball, basically, and chucks it in the middle of everybody, and it just explodes, and the powder goes everywhere, and everybody's like, "Oh," and Florinda's like, "Don't breathe in," and you know what the fuck else are they supposed to do? So everybody breathes in, and everybody goes down because now they've been paralyzed, and um, Team Rocket again. Um, Common sense to be wearing their masks.
How did they
They
get their
go,
mask put back on if they're tied up?
well, correct,
I just want to know.
because they clearly didn't have it while they were explaining that they had a secret weapon. Um, so they pick up Pikachu, and Brock's like, Florinda, you need to help us. And she's like, I can run and get some antidote. And Brock's like, there's no time. And Ash is like, if you hesitate, they're going to get away with Pikachu. And she's like, well, I don't know what to do. And he's like, battle with your Gloom. And she's like, oh, Gloom's weak.
And it's at this point where she's down on herself because she's never battled with Gloom. And Ash is like, if you don't battle, they're gonna run away with my Pikachu. And then Brock's like, Gloom, you're our only hope. And he's like, please, Florinda, you need to battle. Because if you don't, we're all going to die. I'm joking. No, he doesn't say die. But
Didn't say die.
he looks at we get that moment of Brock and Florinda just gazing into each other's eyes. Well, but Brock just looks at her and he's like, I know you can do it. And she's like, I'll do my best. Gloom, go. Doug?
And Gloom jumps down, and Team Rocket's like, oh, that little seed is no match for us. And and Jesse's like, but we're not going to let a challenger go without a battle. So they throw out, Weezing and Arbok, and it's 2-on-1, which on its face isn't fair. And they're like,
Smog.
toxic attack and smog, and so Gloom is covered in this toxic cloud,
and then Florinda starts getting down on herself, and she's like, see, Gloom can't battle. And Brock, I don't know how Brock can even talk if he's paralyzed, but I'm just throwing it out there. But he's like, Florinda, think to be good at some Gloom has to be good at some type of attack. Don't give up. And Florinda's just sitting there thinking, and Bulbasaur is talking to Gloom, and she's like, oh, you are good at one thing. Use your double team attack, Gloom. And Gloom does this double team attack, and it starts filling up the room. It's just gloom, 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 gloom. And Team Rocket's looking around. They're like, oh, shit. And then, and Meowth's like, this is a whole room full of gloom. And Arbok and Weezing are just looking at each other, and they bonk heads, and they send out their acid and their smog attack, and they use it on each other by complete accident. And Brock is like, it's working. Now's your chance to win the battle. And she's like, oh, do you think a solar beam would be good? and then I just slapped my head. I was like, do I think a solar beam would be good? And Brock's like, fucking yes, just do it. And she's like, okay, I'll give it a try. Solar beam.
What the fuck does she mean? She taught Gloom the move because she saw it in a Pokemon magazine. What does that even mean?
She taught Gloom how to use solar beam, but never thought of to use it as an actual attack.
But what? How isn't an attack unlocked by progressing level wise, or am I just thinking of it
In
like
in the video game, yes, but in the and we're gonna find out in the next episode, um, that we're going to do that a Pokemon just learns an attack. Just like remember when we were doing that one black and white episode, and that one trainer was just yelling out all these attacks for Pikachu to do, and Ash, Pikachu can't do that.
doesn't know that one?
But apparently she read some type of magazine which teaches your grass Pokemon how to use Solar Beam. So she taught it to Gloom just out of pure boredom.
Well, got to do something, I suppose. So she's like, oh, I'll give Solar Beam a try, and um, obviously Solar Beam, you need to take a beat for it to charge up.
But at that same point, Pikachu bit the fuck out of Jessie.
Right.
Like normally they don't put stuff like I know they do some violence in this show like for Pokemon's sake, but they never really have an actual Pokemon like they never animate a Pokemon potentially like really hurting a human. But Pikachu just bit the mess out of Jessie, and that kind of took me back. I was like, oh, so they're okay with showing that. All right.
Well, you forget, that at its core, Pikachu is just a mouse.
That's true. That is true. And I guess a bite from a mouse is really gonna hurt. It's like, ow.
Yeah, well, like I say, I've potentially got a couple rolling around here, and I'm not trying to get bit by any one of them.
Oh, I know. We we had a freaking field mouse come into our house, but it ended up getting trapped. So we caught that motherfucker. And I'm
Well,
sitting
and
there
I would
doing the
imagine,
Kevin Hart.
I would imagine what happened to the last mouse that got into your house. I would imagine word would have gotten, hey, don't fuck around with this house.
Yeah, my wife took a broom to it. Just whack. But all right, everybody. But yeah, at this point, Gloom took its second. It built up the sunlight, and then it shot its beam over at Team Rocket, and Team Rocket went blasting off again. And
Through the greenhouse.
Yeah.
So there's a hole in the greenhouse now, but nobody's talking about that.
No, nobody's talking about that. But they'll get that fixed up.
And she's like, "Hey, how was that, Brock?" He's like, "I would say it worked pretty well." And everybody's praising Florinda for taking the step, and Bulbasaur is getting all close to Gloom and giving it licks, and then we find out that everybody was able to take some antidote, and they're doing fine, and Florinda is basically like, I'm just shocked at how powerful Gloom was, and Brock's like, it's strong because of the love and care that you showed for it, and it'll probably evolve any day now,
and Brock basically says, just believe in yourself. And he's like, you're ready to run this nursery. And she's like, I found out that that it was one guy here who showed me all the way, and Brock is getting smitten, and he's like, oh my gosh, she's talking about me. She's gonna move on because I helped her. And then she talks about Potter. She's falling for Potter.
She confesses her love for Potter, and Potter confesses her love for his love for her, and they're gonna run her family's greenhouse together, and Brock is just kicked right in the dick.
because Brock is like, oh my gosh, my dreams have finally come true, right before she announces it, and he turns around and he almost kisses Ash.
Yeah.
And Ash is like, are you talking to anybody? And then freaking Florinda and Potter over there confessing their love to each other. And then that's
And then
really how we're getting ready to end this episode.
now wait a minute. Ash has the contender for line of the episode that I forgot.
Okay, what is it?
Brock's on his knees. He's like, I was rejected by the one girl I loved, which, we know is bullshit, but,
Yeah.
it's a minute left in the episode. We're trying to get out of here. And then Ash reaches down and pats him on the back and goes, Don't worry about it, Brock. We'll find another girl to reject you. And he goes, No, he goes, you'll find plenty of girls to reject you, Eddie. And he's like, Come on, let's go get some flowers for mom and head home. And then they're like, Oh, Ash, you haven't practiced. And the Pokemon League's in 2 months. And Ash
He's
is
like,
like, Oh,
oh,
there's always tomorrow.
there's always tomorrow, everybody. So, but
And but yeah, so Ash's line of, We'll find plenty of girls to reject you is. Because he means well, but he's an idiot.
and that is how we end this week's episode. And Doug, I kind of think we have a trend going, but what did you think of this week's episode on your Dougometer?
This week is good. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I'm going to give it an extra bump because I enjoyed reviewing this one more than I did watching it. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't offensive. Seeing poor Brock get punched in the gut like that was kind of like, oh, I didn't know if I needed that right before the end of the episode. Bulbasaur got some time to shine, so yeah, 3.5. It's filler. It's going to be filler for a while, so I think you just got to get comfortable with it at a certain point.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a nice round 3-star as well. Like you said, I enjoyed reviewing it more than I did actually sitting down watching it because I was watching this episode. I was like, how the fuck can we make this funny? I was like, this is such a dull episode, but yeah, everybody. So, Doug, I'm gonna give you a shiner. So I split these 4
You're gonna
cards.
hit me?
Yeah, just wait until Friday, my friend. I'm joking.
I know where you live. I'll take you down.
But I have 2 Genesect packs, and then I got 1 Gengar pack and 1 Mew pack. This is the artwork that is on top. Am I going to open the Gengar pile or am I going to open the Mew pile for this episode, Doug?
Go with the Gengar pile.
Gengar pile it is. All right. Now, the second question is, am I opening Gengar or Genesect first?
Gengar.
Gengar. All right. So let's go ahead and open this. Oh, this was really easy to freaking open. Oh my goodness. I think this is the easiest I've had ever opening a Pokemon pack. Ooh, and there's new code cards. They styled the new code cards. So, all right. So, I'm going to do the card trick. Doug, what card am I looking at?
Grass.
Damn. Fire.
Shit.
And then I got a Diggersby, a Sydney card, a Cross Switcher, a Grubbin, a Mankey, a Krogant, a Pansear, a Goomy, a Reverse Hollow Carvana, and I have a non-hollow rare Blissey. So I would say this is more of a dull pack because you can barely even tell that this Carvana is this Carvana a reverse hollow? Yes, it is. Okay. I was like, you can barely tell that it's an actual reverse hollow. So, all right. So, as I stated before, the pulls in this type of Pokemon packs are extremely hard. So, any good cards that I can get out of these will be a win. So let's see if the second pack will be a winner for us, Doug. All right, let's go ahead. Let me open this. Dun, dun, dun. I love the new artwork on these cards. I mean, on the promo cards. All right, Doug, let's see. What card am I looking at?
Electricity.
Steel.
Ah, shit.
All right, and then I have a Linoon, a Stantler, a Gliscor, a Toxel, a Totodile, a Burnaby, Colopsis, a Tenamo, a Reverse Hollow Corsola, and then my rare is a non-hollow Vikavolt. So damn, 2 for 2, 2 dual packs in a row. And I'm gonna guess that the way that these cards, these promo cards are, that they switched it up and the white is the dull now. At least I'm thinking that because I got 2 white cards and these are both dull packs. So can't win them all, everybody. And maybe this past Tuesday on our black and white episode, I got a decent pull. So
Maybe this past Tuesday.
Yes, I'm speaking. We're in the future, though.
We're in the future.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you again. Now, I want to preference the ending of this episode by starting next week. You are only getting 1 episode of our show per week going forward, at least for right now, until things change. But next week's episode is going to be a black and white episode. And next week's episode is going to be called Rematch at the Nakreen Gym. So we will see what ends up happening from this past week on black and white, where Ash lost his gym battle. And that was pretty funny. But we'll see if he's able to redeem himself, everybody. So, do you have anything else to add, Doug?
I mean, other than, spoiler alerts for us.
We've watched the episode.
Oh, I suppose we have.
We're about to review it.
Well, then how have we watched it if we haven't reviewed it?
Because we watch it beforehand, so we know what the fuck we're talking
Shush,
about.
shush, 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 shush. Giving away all our shit, for goodness sake.
I know, for real. So, all right, Doug. Well, say your old goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G, hoping all of you, and on behalf of Doug as well, that you have a happy and safe new year. And we will see you in 2022, everybody. Have a good night.